legend for the USA.
Lebanon is the Olympic champion.
Christina Horigo is coming. A sterling effort to get the silver. Merritt's now forging ahead. Gold for Merritt. Here comes Usain Bolt. The champion becomes a legend. Merritt is going to make it 2 gold medals for Great Britain.
A fantastic afternoon in store for you. This is how it looks. First up, Jessica Ennis going in the hurdles, and of course Olympic champion, world champion Sally Pearson there, our very own Tiffany Porter too, who's competing in the World Championships. We've got a couple of great 110 hurdles, including Olympic champion Aries, world record holder Aries Merritt in the second race, and a couple of great 100 metres women's for you. The NZ Car Miles coming up later at 5 to 4, a brilliant women's 400 metres. Christine Horigo going in that. And then after the women's 100-metre final, we can look forward to Mo Farah on the track at 4:30 in the 3K. Will he take that British record from Dave Moorcroft? And then it's the relay, 4x100 featuring Usain at 10 to 5. And remember, you can follow all the action from the Olympic Stadium on BBC Sport, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram pages. And some of the most memorable moments from 2012 as well, following at BBC Sports. We'll be tweeting exactly 1 year on from every one of the events of the Olympic Games. Worth following, even if it's just for the next few weeks, I think you'll agree. So we are indeed looking forward to Jessica Ennis going in the hurdles in a few moments' time. It's been an incredible year for her. She got married, for one, and even she can't believe it's 12 months since those glorious couple of days.
The biggest cheer of all will be reserved for this lady.
Firstly, that it's a year on, and it still just feels very surreal that, you know, that huge moment in my life, my career, came, and it all came together, and I was able to achieve my dreams. And yeah, when I still see that image of me crossing the line, whether it's on an advert or, you know, something that I come across, and it gives me goosebumps, because I just can't believe I was able to achieve that. It's going to be so strange being back in that environment again, and when I was there for the Olympics hurdling, I was stood there thinking, I will never have this opportunity again. But at the same time, I'm in two very different situations as well. Last year, I was so prepared. I was just 100% ready to compete. And this year, I'm not quite as prepared as I would have liked to have been. I'm just so glad that I've finally started my season, and to go to Loughborough and throw a PB in the javelin, which I wasn't expecting, was great. So that's given me a little bit more confidence. So one event down, I've got to test out the rest. And yeah, it'll be a good opportunity to hurdle in a world-class field and long jump, and yeah, see how that comes together, and obviously see how my Achilles holds up. I just keep thinking, thank God it's not last year, and for it to have happened this year is frustrating, but if it was this time round the London Olympics last year, it would have been absolutely devastating.
Where does this fit in terms of the ultimate tester for whether you could possibly compete at the Worlds? I know you've said unless you're in gold medal contention, you don't really want to just go as an also-ran. That's not what you're there for.
No, I definitely want to go, and I want to be competitive. I only want to go if I know that I'm, you know, pretty much ready to contend for that gold medal. So it's going to be, you know, a good indication this weekend to see how the hurdles goes, how the long jump goes, where I am physically, and how my Achilles holds up with those two events, and obviously a couple of days after that. So it's going to be a good test, and I hope to make a decision shortly after that.
Well, there she is, just a few moments away from the 100 hurdles. I'm delighted to say Tony Minicello. We've been talking about him, now we can talk to him. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Steve was being very emotional. Well, he said you were very emotional, of course, last year in the gold medal moment, and there was a tear in your eye. And he said it was one of his favourite photos of the Olympics, seeing you watching Jess get her medal last year.
Yeah, he says I was emotional, but I'm never going to admit that.
Is it good to be back?
It is very good. Good to be back, and it's different, very different, I think, this time round. But no, it's nice to be back.
When did you make the decision to compete today? How late did it come?
That was really made after sort of Thursday this week. So we needed to give the injury 48 hours after competing in Loughborough to be kind of certain that it wasn't going to react badly, and it hasn't. And then we checked it out again yesterday, and it seems okay.
It's been a mixed year, I guess, for her and for you, and complete contrast to last year. And she said it there, if there was a year to pick, then you wouldn't have wanted this going into the Olympic Games. But,
No.
but it must be frustrating when you can't back up a brilliant summer with a world championship, a real good crack at the world championship with the kind of training that you did
It is
last year.
frustrating, but it comes with athletics. It's something that you have to deal with. Athletes do get injured, they work as hard as they work, and things happen. So it's unfortunate. You wouldn't want it in any year. I don't think it's a good year to be injured. No, a lot of good things have happened to her this year. So there was a wedding in there. I'm sure she's happy enough with this year.
What have you said to her today about how to approach this race? What do you want from it?
I wanted to come through injury-free. This isn't really the race that I'd pick for her to open up a 100-metre hurdling season. I'd like to have started a little more low-key and in front of 65,000 people. So really it's to get through it injury-free, and then really it's the next 24 or 48 hours to make sure there's no reaction to it, and then we'll assess again as to what we're doing going forwards.
Let's go down to Colin. He's just down by the start line, and I'm sure soaking up the atmosphere there and looking at Jess's face very close up. You can see the tension, the concentration there.
There is a lot of, really a lot of tension down the track. I must admit, it's a little bit blustery yet again. The hurdlers are not keen on it. It's coming to and fro. So when they get to the back end of the race, they may be struggling if the wind really pushes them back. But this field is full of talent. We've got the Olympic champion here, Sally Pearson, who unfortunately has struggled yet again with this. She's walking forward to us. Sally again has been injured, and she's coming back. And I can assure you, these hurdles become more of an obstacle when you're returning from injury. And then, of course, if we go right across to Jessica Ennis, she turns her back on us just to compose herself yet again, get ready for this competition, because this is tight. When we talk about it full of talent, it's unbelievable. Tiffany Porter, Britain's #1, is a real strong contender in the World Championships. And all that talent, there's Kelly Wells. They just missed out the US team. She got a personal best this year of 12:54. She's not going to Moscow, not quite quick enough. So this is going to be like a blanket finish. So over to our commentary boys to call it.
Very much. We'll go to commentary in just a moment, but I just want one more word from Tony on this, because brutally, is today the day you decide whether you go to Moscow?
No, I've got. It's not as clear-cut as that. I think, like I say, we'll take another 2-3 days after this to have a look at how the injury reacts, and then we'll see what training we can get in the next week. She'll go late into the holding camp if we go into the holding camp, or maybe we'll go direct to Moscow. Those are things that we need to look at and make decisions on.
Relationships with coaches are so vital, aren't they? Because these are the times, it's all right being together in the good times, Paula, but obviously Tony and Jess have got a fantastic relationship, and these are the ones where, you know, the days where it really counts.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the legacy rewarding those club coaches. That's where Tony started out, that's where my coach started out. And they're the people who are there through the ups and downs, through the really tough times, and making those crucial decisions with you, which can really make or break whether you go to a championships or whether you sit at home and think, you know what, I could have gone and I could have won. So you don't want to take that risk either.
Well, Tony's starting to twiddle his fingers. It's almost race time. We're here for you, Tony. We're going to watch this one with you, and hopefully watch some good replays afterwards as well. Let's join our commentary team. Steve's in the box for this one.
Thank you, Gabby, and what a moment. Jess Ennis-Hill now waiting to be introduced to the crowd, and another full house here in brilliant sunshine, I'm pleased to say, because the forecast hadn't been great, but as Colin said, it is a little breezy down there. There's a lineup, and yeah, Ali, who would have figured here, doesn't start. So we've got Williams, Lewis, Wells, Sally Pearson, the Olympic and world champion, Tiff Porter, Jess Ennis-Hill, and Hildebrand of Germany in lane 9. Well, this event really is one of the most competitive events in the world, the 100-metre hurdles for women. Shemaine Williams made the semi-finals at the Olympics last year. She hasn't been quite as quick as that this year, is in the Jamaican team though. Now watch out for Yvette Lewis in lane 3. She only made the semi-final in the US Championships. We've heard about the standard of that, but her last couple of races, she's run a new personal best in Finland, 12.67, and was second in Monaco last week. Kelly Wells, the Olympic bronze medalist. What a great race it was last year, but as Colin just mentioned, despite running 12.54, she didn't make the team, was fourth in their trials. Talking about people coming back from injury, the world and Olympic champion Sally Pearson still trying to find her best form. Her first race back after her hamstring injury was a good one in Ostrava, but has struggled to come on from that. Normally Tiff Porter, you'd say, Britain's #1 hurdler, when heptathletes aren't taking part, that is, but Tiff has had a pretty good, solid season so far. She is the UK champion. Lane 7 empty, and let's listen to the roar for Jessica Ennis-Hill. Outside Jess will be Nadine Hildebrandt, the German champion. Well, I was saying a few minutes ago, chatting with Gabby, that first morning, the first event, which set the tone really for the whole athletics program and set Jess on her way to the gold medal at 12.54 clocking. Of course, that is the British record. Tiffany Porter, 12.56, the second fastest. No records expected today, of course. A safe, good performance from Jess Ennis, and one which she can then carry forward. Long jump later on, of course, and hopefully give her the confidence to at some point make the decision about going to Moscow. But watch for the middle lanes. Lewis in lane 3, Wells in 4, Pearson in 5, and Porter in 6.
Set.
Pretty good start from Kelly Wells, and Pearson right alongside her. Just not so quick out of the blocks. Tiffany Porter trying to get in this, but Sally Pearson, where she won the gold medal last year, coming back to some form. Tiffany Porter pushing her close. It's going to be Pearson though, wins it from Porter, then Wells. Jess Ennis might have got in for 4th or 5th, very close. 12.65 the winning time. That's much better from Pearson than we've seen probably in the last 2 or 3 races, where she hasn't finished well. She finished that really well this time. Solid performance from Jess. I'm sure she'll be happy to have come through that. Looks like a smile on her face. Obviously not thinking about the problems. And look how much that means to Sally Pearson. A season's best for her. I said she ran well in her first race back in Ostrava. Hasn't really managed to move on from that until today. So she may well be able to go with some confidence towards those championships and defend her world title.
Well, a nation's favourite coming back from injury, but not Jessica Ennis-Hill, but Sally Pearson, and Australia will be very happy about this because she has had her problems, and very impressive season's best it was. And for Ennis-Hill, as she is now known, that I think you see the smile at the end. It's not about the time, it's about competing, getting in there, and she finished strongly. It's about not feeling any tweaks or twinges as she ran that race, because coming over the hurdles with that injury, if you're slapping down on the track, that is probably where it's going to be felt most of all. So impressive from Sally Pearson though, and she took it out from the start and through the line all the way. She looked very, very strong indeed. Very good signs for her going to Moscow.
Well, she's a great technician, Sally Pearson, but the last couple of races hasn't finished her races off so well. That was much better today. Jess, nice and safely out of the blocks. Good, decent reaction time, not as quick as she can do, but again, you can understand that. And I think what Jess will be most pleased about was how she finished the race. She came through really strongly towards the end, and in fact beating Yvette Lewis, who's been in good form recently. That's a good scalp to get. Just outside 13 seconds, 13.08. Be interesting to get Tony's views on what he thinks of that, but safely through, that's the most important thing, and look forward to seeing her in the long jump later.
Alongside me, the winner of the race, Sally Pearson, and Jess, of course. And Jess, I thought your face on the start gave it all away, really. You were more relaxed at the start of the heptathlon at the Olympics last year. This was a nervous one for you.
Yeah, this was very nerve-wracking, just to obviously, this is my first hurdle race since the Olympics last year, and having this injuries, I've not been able to prepare the best I could have. So yeah, great to be here, great to see the crowd again, some great memories, but obviously disappointed with my time.
Steve Cram was saying on commentary, you finished strongly. You'll be pleased most about that, maybe?
Yeah, it's kind of there. I'm just lacking the speed work at the moment. I've only just started hurdling again this week and doing the explosive stuff, so it's kind of to be expected.
Have you got the time in between now and Moscow, injury permitting, of course, to get it right the way you want to?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have a chat with my coach and we'll have a sit down and think and see if we've got time to, to put things where they need to be for Moscow.
We wish you well for